Okay, so this is our web quest explanation. So we are doing Year 5 Geography with the focus being natural disasters. So our scars are links. So our knowledge and understanding focus, so the impact of bushfires, droughts, cyclones, floods, or other weather events on environments and communities and how people can respond. And throughout the task, we cover key concepts, which is environment, change, sustainability, interconnection, and place. So the HASS skills that are targeted and assessed progressively move across the tasks. So in the beginning task, we focus mostly on questioning. Task two, analyzing. Task three, a little bit of analyzing and evaluating, a tiny bit of communication as well. And then in task four, it's quite heavy on the evaluating and the communicating or reflection. So the general capabilities are two core ones that are mentioned in SCARSA are critical and creative thinking. So where the students begin to critically analyze and assess possibilities, and creatively generating and applying new ideas. Also personal and social capability. So this means to understand themselves and others and engage in new ways of thinking in global society. Throughout the task, there is also literacy and ICT, which is addressed. Then moving on to our cross-curricular priorities. So the main focus for these tasks is sustainability. So allowing students to develop skills, values, and worldviews in order to contribute to society in a sustainable manner. So this is particularly prevalent in the third and the fourth tasks when they really begin to think about how they can help their community, how they can restore environments, and how they can make a plan towards that. Okay, so the prior knowledge going into this, so year fours, they would have kind of touched on environments and maybe begin thinking about natural disasters. So the importance of environments to animals and people and the different views on how they can be protected. So we really see that in task three and four when we begin making our plans and assessing how we can help the environment and the community. The general skills that students should have going into this task, into this web quest should be safe and appropriate skills for operating iPads and websites. So there should be expectations, that have been relayed to the students and then further develop their ICT skills. So this will mostly focus on website navigation. We also go into Canva as well, so that would have to be explicitly taught. And we do have a couple of videos and show how to upload things. And then the ability to individually navigate a web quest and complete tasks. So we've made the web quest quite simple and easy to follow to not overload their cognitive capacity. And then asking questions and thinking critically, which they should be well developing in year five. Okay, so the implementation. So the web quest will be completed twice a week. This will be during allocated HAS time. And the expectation is for this that the task will take about 2 lessons to finish. So if we allocate for 2 lessons a week, then the task should be done over 4 weeks. Students will have 45 minutes to an hour for each lesson, and yeah, it'll be done in the first 4 weeks of term three. So students will complete their web class individually. Can be flexible, so either using their iPads or a school computer. So to allow that, some sessions will be booked in the ICT lab. This will also help them to develop their ICT skills. Students may need headphones for some parts of the web quest, so that is also acknowledged in the introduction page. And this unit of work is intended to be completed fully online. However, some modifications may be necessary and will be implemented if that's the case. Okay, so we have some enabling prompts here. So we've got some sentence starters and prompting questions throughout the tasks, as well as guided examples. And a lot of our tasks are stepped out to allow students to kind of use this as a checklist. And a lot of our big chunks of writing, we've also done audio conversions for them, so they're not always having to constantly read. Extending. So we're kind of hitting that climate change and sustainability link. So involving more of those high order thinking questions. This kind of links into the what if and challenging research questions, which are extended on their research element of the tasks. Providing a range of resources. So providing resources that are easy, providing some resources that allow students to extend their learning. So they may have more elements to them or more opportunity for exploration. And then also role development. So we give students a bit of autonomy in their choice. So, and also having a small summary can allow the students to do a little bit more research for themselves and expand on this. Okay, going into assessments. So for assessment one, the students would have completed their digital poster. So this is based on a known bushfire or drought that has occurred in the past. The teacher will collect these and it will be an anecdotal checklist that we'll go into later, based on what the student has included. Assessment two, will completed a worksheet based on their learning about floods and cyclones. And this will talk about the dangers, the impact on communities, and they will also investigate real life events such as Cyclone Tracy and the Queensland floods. The teacher will collect and assess this understanding from work samples and use an anecdotal checklist. For assessment three, the students will be completing a town meeting plan. This will be based on a specific scenario and a specific member role that they have chosen. The teacher will evaluate the student's understanding and provide feedback before the final task. And this will be done using a simple rubric. And then our final summative assessment, students will have created an information poster based on a natural disaster of their choosing. And this will explain how people can repair to, respond, or recover from the disaster. So they get that autonomy and choice. Students will apply their understanding of natural disasters and the impacts to communicate clear and practical safety strategies for communities. The teacher will collect the posters and assess them using a formal rubric. Okay, now we'll go on to our website navigation. So, starting at the introduction, so we have a little introduction so they know what we're focusing on, and we will introduce our little animated friend here. So he'll be seen throughout the website as kind of a navigator and also just as a visual stimulation. So there's a little spiel there that will take us straight to the first task. We've also put in what I need to have. So this allows students to get organized before going into the web quest. So headphones, house workbook, access to Canva. We've also put in some how-to videos, so how to upload a file from their computer and also how to save a poster on Canva. Okay. Going into task one, focusing on bushfires and droughts. So we've got our learning intention and success criteria. This is clearly stated throughout all of the tasks. A spiel from our friend Mr. Roo and some visual elements here. We have a diagnostic element on Padlet, which is basically asking what they already know about bushfires and droughts. So just gaining some of that diagnostic assessment before going into the other tasks. So we've provided some information websites at different levels, and this will allow the students to consolidate, to collect the information. And we've also put some research questions here. So we have some enabling starting questions and some extension questions to just help guide their research. So the task one is to compare and contrast. So they will make a table showing the causes, some environmental effects, community effects, and some interesting facts. And they'll upload a photo to it here so the teacher can assess it. Also providing them an opportunity to share an interesting fact that they have learned. So the main task is their digital poster, and we've put this into steps to just allow students to easily process through the task. And then down here we have uploading their digital poster. We have a friendly how-to reminder if they need to go back and look at that. And then we've also put in some reflection questions. So just allowing them to critically reflect on what they've learnt and easy on to the next task. So going on to cyclones and floods, we have our learning intention, success criteria, and the content descriptor. Mr. Wu here is giving us a mission briefing, and that's also put in an audio form to take off that cognitive load. We also have a disclaimer here, just in case some of the videos are a little bit too confronting. We just want to allow students a little bit of warning if they don't feel quite up to it. So going into building your knowledge, kind of like the last lesson where we've given them some resources to read or watch to collect their information and allowing them to put in an interesting fact. We've also provided some real life events and some information here in case they struggle to find one that they're interested in. So we've got Cyclone Tracy and the Queensland floods, and then applying that research and that knowledge to make a poster for them for their task. Again, the upload photo, and this time we have a self-assessment. So this just allows the students to reflect on the task and really critically think about what they've learnt. Okay, going on to task 3, so impacts on the environment and communities. We have a learning intention success criteria, update from Mr. Wu. And in this one, we'll be focusing on a town meeting report. So with each scenario, we've got a little spiel and also a recorded one so they can listen to it. And we've also put in different roles for the students to choose. And we put in kind of a little spiel for them there so they can understand what the role is about. Some investigating, so we've got some websites that link to emergency organizations, how it affects the environment, and how it affects communities. Again, the starting questions and the challenging questions to guide the research, and the meeting plan steps. So this is just a little consolidation of their research. So choosing 3 skills your role can use to help restore the community and environment and explain why. Uploading and some more reflection questions. Okay, task 4, how can people respond? Again, we have our learning attention success criteria, mission briefing. So this one is kind of posed as a mission. Providing some key information for the students. So who helps when disaster strikes? And then if a disaster happened in your town tomorrow, who would you help? Who would you expect to help first? What would they need to do? How would they keep people safe? So some critical thinking questioning there. And then we've also provided some more information for the students to easily access. Okay, so onto their final task. So create an emergency action plan about how to plan for, respond to, and recover from a natural disaster. So we give the students some autonomy here. They can either choose a poster, a video, or a slideshow, and they are allowed to choose which natural disaster they want to focus on. Perfect. So here we go on to the information that they have gathered, and then we have a task rubric to clearly state what they need to do. Perfect. Onto our teacher page. So here is where our explanation video will go. We have curriculum links and key concepts, the HASS skills, general capabilities, cross-curriculum priorities, and our prior knowledge, which we went through in before. Okay, here we have our assessment tasks, which we went over, but here we have the actual examples of them, and these are all linked to lesson objectives and the skills that are being assessed. So for task 1, we have a simple checklist for the digital poster. For task 2, we also have a checklist for Cyclone Tracy and the Queensland floods. For task 3, we have a simple rubric for the town meeting plan. And for task 4, we have a formal rubric. And these are our references. Perfect.